Yo, what up, everybody? It's your boy Darnell, and I want to welcome you to another episode here on the Arizona Inform You podcast show. Today, we got the infamous man of the hour that's doing his thing. This dude is a business owner. He's a teacher, a motivational speaker, and he's just all around a dope individual, man. I want y'all to say what's up to my brother, Mr. Gary Watkins.
What's up? What's up?
Hey, I'm laughing because last night we did an interview on another show that I do, and it reminded me of Coming to America. Man. Give it on for Mr. Gary.
that ain't right, but that's okay.
Man, what's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling really good.
So I just want to kind of tell the people out there, man, that this is a series of talks that we're going to be doing, man. You know, talking about business and talking about other different areas in life that help and encourage people at the same time.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. That's the plan. That's the plan. I love it, man. So, if just to catch people up real quick, let them know exactly what you do.
Yes, my background is hair. I've been in the hair industry since I was 12. I told you the story.
Yeah.
We'll spare them the story.
Yeah.
But I've been doing hair bootlegging when I was 12, got licensed when I was about 23.
Okay.
And not trying to give away my age, but I've been in the business for over 40 years. From that led me into not so much motivational speaking. I'm more of a trainer, a teacher, but into leadership and mindset information. So I'm certified in NLP.
Okay.
And I work a lot with the John Maxwell team in leadership.
Gotcha. Okay, I like it. So you guys got the update. If you guys want to know more, definitely go check out the two shows, the Arizona Informant, AZI TV. Let me get the information right. And also go check out the Message Lounge where he's on both of those platforms talking, man. We want to give everybody just multiple platforms. You know what I mean?
I love it.
So he gave me a paper with some stuff on it because he's undertone telling me I can't do my job right.
That is not true. Matter of fact, like I told you the other night, you're excellent at this.
Oh, I thank you, man. I appreciate that so much, man. But no, just to let you guys know, man, you know, he's a good brother. You know, we building a good relationship, and I'm taking his leadership classes, so he's a teacher to me as well. You know what I mean? So I'm super excited, man. So let's jump into it, man. One of the things is work on your business, but first work on yourself. What does that mean to you?
Well, I started focusing business owners on that, Darnell. Everybody knows pretty much. Everybody knows. A lot of people know that you can't just work in your business.
Right.
You know, that you got to work on your business.
Right.
And that's a strong move if you find yourself preoccupied in your business. But I found is even a stronger move to first work on yourself, because you are the common denominator and have the most influence in the business. And John Maxwell says it best. He talks about the law of the lid. The business can't go any higher than you grow as an individual, and your ability to influence people, your ability to inspire people. So you've got to work on that's what let's say everybody got to do whatever they want to do, but that's what I found worked best for me.
Gotcha.
Is when I worked on myself, the business grew a lot more than even just working on the business.
So are you one of them teachers, man? And this is one of the questions that I don't know why I didn't ask. Are you one of them teachers where you get mad if people don't do it the way you want them to do it?
Yeah. No. Exactly. Yes. No, I'm not. Of course not. No, especially the longer I've been in this teaching industry or business industry is, we're dealing with individuals.
Okay.
And so I'm definitely more of the mindset that I got an end goal, an end outcome I want. Now, how you get it done, there's can be some variation in it. And that's how I feel you definitely have to allow people to operate, because they can't, like my sons took over the salon. Well, they're not me, so they can't do it the way I do it.
Right.
They have to do it the way they do it.
And do you think a lot of teachers fail because of the fact they want everybody to do it their way?
Well, yeah, I would have to say, in life, that's not the best approach.
In other words, stop it.
Yeah, because, we're all individuals, so we have different strengths and different skill sets. and your skill set, like I can't do what you do the way you do it. I
Right.
mean, you've got that smoothness and you've got it down. You told me you had to practice
Yeah,
it, so
yeah,
I can
yeah,
practice, but
yeah.
I still probably wouldn't do it as effectively or the way you do it anyway.
Okay, and I appreciate that so much. You know what I mean. So, what's some of the biggest differences between where you are now and where you want to be at?
Yes, always definitely looking to get more. I know you're a spiritual man,
Yes, sir.
and so am I. And one of my favorite verses in the Bible is that no matter how much you're doing, or let me give the scripture. I'm kind of a paraphraser when it
Yeah,
comes to the
yeah.
Bible.
Nah, I got you.
But the scripture sounds more like, even when a fruit is bringing forth, even though a tree is bringing forth fruit, cut it back so it can bring forth more.
Come on, man. I love it.
And that's a great attitude in business and in life. No matter how good you're doing, you can always do better.
Right.
So I definitely have a long way to go. I don't see any end. I understand today I'm never doing it my best. Not going
Right.
to happen.
Okay.
That's the ideal, but that's never going to be the reality. There's always more in me. When I was doing hair as a 12-year-old person in my mother's third floor apartment, well, what had to change, why I talk about that is that what had to change was me to own with my sons and partners, 6 salons. It wasn't about only 6 salons. I had to become a different person in order
Right.
to do that.
Right,
So
right.
there was things I had to learn,
Okay.
between there. So that's the biggest difference from where a person is and where they want to be. I say is what they need to know, who they need to become.
Got you. And so how long did it take you to grasp that mindset?
Yeah, that's a good question because I definitely haven't always had this mindset. In fact, when people used to say you could always grow, always stay green, I used to think yeah, right. You can't always grow. My goodness,
Yeah.
we're gonna peak out at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
But now it's amazing as you get into the game of learning, which was probably, I say it really got really hyper focused for me maybe 20 years ago when I started working with one of my pastors, Dr. Craig. Dr. Craig, I was teaching in the school and he was turning me on to book after book after book, and it just caught fire. And once it caught fire, it became more obvious. I mean, I almost think you have to not be thinking to think that you could ever peak. There's no peaking here. There's always more.
Yeah.
So it just caught fire maybe 20 years ago to where the more I learned, you've heard it said before, the more I realized I didn't know.
Right.
And that's still the case today, man. I'm happy with what I know.
Yeah.
But man,
there's always, because I'm a firm believer in, man, you will never stop learning, you will never stop growing, you will never stop gaining until you get to heaven.
And true in life, and even more true for a leader. If you're a leader or a business owner, for me, the quickest route to your success is to learn from what somebody else has already struggled with.
Right.
Matter of fact, I told you I was in a workshop in a training today.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing, he said, the biggest mistake, a lot of people say experience is the best teacher.
Right.
When it's not. Somebody else's experience is the best teacher, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't have to have the bruises and bumps. So that's one of the main things that I wanted to say today is that if you're going to be a leader or a business owner, I don't say you have to do anything, but it's a lot easier if you become really a serious person about learning, a life learner.
Right.
Because you can climb mountains like that if you can know more and get more information.
And I love it, man. And one of the things that did come to mind was those people that feel like they don't need any help. You know what I mean? And to me, it's like, because I dealt with a person like that where they felt like, whenever you sent them help.
You dealt with just one person like that?
I remember recently. No. I deal with people like that, but this one particular person, man, I sent them, like, it wasn't just me sending them help. Like, there was multiple people sending them help.
Right.
And this person would reject the help because they didn't want, I don't know, for whatever reason, they just didn't want the help. They wanted to do it on their own or be known for them doing it. They wanted all the kudos or whatever.
Right.
And them type of people, to me, will never, ever, ever become more successful than what they are in that moment.
It's hard just being successful on what you know.
Right.
I heard one man say the other day, to get rich or very successful, you got to use other people's money and other people's brains.
Yeah.
Because if you're
Yeah.
the smartest one in the room, you can only go as far as you know where to go.
Right.
And so and I didn't always again have that attitude. Life just led me into when you really want to do something powerful, it's going to turn you in the direction of people that are farther along than you are.
Okay.
So when I met my CEO uh, of Tony and Guy, Bruno, Bruno was, but I had one salon.
Mm-hmm.
Bruno had 350 salons.
Ooh.
And
I can't even manage myself like
yeah,
that.
I mean, he was. They were great about it.
Yeah.
And I was talking with somebody the other day, and he was saying like, yeah, oh, the gentleman last night that was doing the camera.
Yeah, my man. Yeah, Ed Jones.
We were talking before the show, and he said, yeah, when I get in the presence of my mentors, I just shut up. They wonder why he's so quiet. He said, because I'm trying to learn.
Yeah.
And I used to get around Bruno, and I'd be telling him about everything we were doing, and one day it just hit me. It was like, Jerry, he's already been there.
Yeah.
Long time ago. You ain't telling him anything he doesn't already know.
Yeah.
In fact, you need to be asking him. You need to shut up. Okay?
Basically.
And just let him tell you how to come along where he's at.
And I love it because it just came to me where it's like, we're so quick to speak,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so even the Bible talks about that. Don't be so quick to speak, and with me, I'm a sponge.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were saying, like you're sitting here and you're telling people, or you're telling this guy, well, I do this, and a lot of times what we don't realize is we burn our bridge right then and there, because the person's like, okay, well, this person just doesn't know how to learn or doesn't want to shut up. I don't need to waste my time with this because they're gonna be telling me this and that and other. You know what I mean? Like I had the same person that we tried to send help to. So, mind you, my background is music.
Right.
So this individual, not to say I know everything, but this individual tried to tell me about a level in the area that I know that he doesn't know.
Right.
And I was just looking at this fool like, you watch YouTube for a couple minutes and think, you know what? Go ahead, by all means. And what ended up happening was this person had to keep calling people to ask him, okay, what do you do here? What do you do there? And I would just sit back and just look like, all right, man.
Yeah.
So I definitely honor that, man. But what does this mean when I say this to you? The goal isn't to have a very positive business. The goal is to become the person who can have a very profitable business.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite quotes from one of my mentors, Paul Martinelli.
Okay.
And when I first heard it, I was like, wow, that is so deep and so insightful. And most people miss this. Like you want to have a salon that does $1 million.
Right.
Well, we get fixated on having a salon that has $1 million. The lesson in that quote is, it's not about you having a salon. It's about you becoming the person who could just have that salon. See, if you become that person, you don't have to try to have that salon.
Right.
You'll have that salon.
Right.
Because and so the main point here is that he's telling you his experience has been, you have to grow. You have to change.
Got you.
One of my favorite, my quote. I'm going to take credit for this quote. I don't know where I stole it, so I'll take credit for it. No, you always hear people say they want to go to the next level.
Right.
I want to go to the next level. And one day I was saying that, I was writing it, and I realized you don't go to the next level. You have to grow to the next level.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to go to the next level. I get that. Me too. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. So that's what that statement is really zeroing in on. It's not about owning a successful business. It's about becoming the person who could have that business.
Right.
Because once you make the changes, it almost comes to you. Once you grow to that level,
right,
you're there.
Okay, so what do you think is like the biggest setback, or what stopped you, or what stopped leaders? I guess it's like a 2-part question, but what was your biggest hiccup in life in getting to that point?
Well, I say, and some of this, we'll talk about next week too, but I would say there's 3 things, there's many things, but there's 3 main things that I see that's slowed me down or stopped me in some cases. Fear being a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of us, fear would definitely make cowards out of us, right?
Right.
Another thing is having the energy.
Right.
A lot of people don't understand something as simple as running a business. I mean, it takes energy to get out of the bed just to go to work in the morning. If you got to get up and go deal with like you said, I'm on the phone all the time, and you're dealing with problems and you're dealing with staff. If you got 150 staff, you got a lot more problems than you have if it's just you.
Pretty much.
So it takes a lot of energy to make that happen.
Right.
And then the third one is information. You can't do better most of the times if you don't know better.
Right.
So that's why we talk about growing. We've got to grow. Those to me are the biggest three foundational pieces that have to be put in place. You've got to be courageous. Business, there's risk.
Right.
And a lot of times people are like, oh, it's too big of a risk. Well, you can't, the bigger the risk, the greater the reward. You've got to be willing to take the risk.
Right.
And you've got to have the energy to maintain the business. You can't be a sickly, I don't feel like going to work person, because you now, instead of an 8-hour job, you got a 12-hour job at a minimum.
Right. And I think people don't realize that when they say, well, I can invest these 8 hours into myself and do that and other. Well, when you work for yourself, it ain't 8 hours you're investing. Yeah. If it's 13, it's 24, it's no sleep sometimes because you're growing something, you're making something happen.
Me and my sons, we remodeled a salon in Arrowhead, and we're trying to keep a tight window because every day we're closed,
right.
We're losing money. The
right.
staff's losing money.
Right.
So we're trying to do this thing within a week, and we got behind a day or so. And the staff's like, okay, when are we going back to work? We need to make money. It's Friday, and we were supposed to be open Thursday. We said, guys, we're going to be open by Saturday. We promise. We went to that job. We went there with the contractors at about 6 that morning. We met them out there, and we worked all day figuring, okay, we're going to wrap this thing up. It was about 10 o'clock at night, and in front of our store, we're full of furniture. Everything was out of the salon.
Wow.
And we were exhausted. I was like, it's 10 o'clock and we're nowhere near finished.
Wow.
We got stuff because we're trying to do everything to help these guys because we're behind now. And that was a really proud moment for me with my sons because, see, I had pulled the 24 hours.
Right.
I was my owner used to say I was a workhorse, me and my buddy. But I didn't know if they were workhorses yet. And, man, they got up, and I'm thinking about 11. They're going to be saying, like, Dad, we're done.
Wow.
They came. I don't know what happened. For all of us, a whole nother level of energy kicked in about 12. We were all dragging about 10, but about 11 or 12, it was like everybody was awake again.
Wow.
And we stayed there to 6 in the morning. I had to go over and buy some clothes at Walmart's because I was dusty.
Right.
Take a little shower in the sink, And because I had to get back over there because things weren't quite finished, and I wanted to make sure that the staff didn't come in because they were complaining about anything and say, there's still dust here, there's there. So I'm there trying to keep everybody calm.
Right.
My sons take off to go to work to cut hair.
Oh, wow.
And then my party animal, he leaves. This is the 31st of October, in fact. He done been up since 6 all night, goes and cuts hair all day, leaves the salon and goes out and parties.
With no sleep.
No sleep. I was mad. I was like, are you crazy? But I guess when you're young, I probably did that when I was young. But I'm just saying, that's not something we did on a regular basis, but I've done things like that many of times for, in certain circumstances,
right.
for travel and different things, just be up. So yeah, it's not going to be an 8 to 5.
No. And even in what we do here, at the Arizona Informant, you know what I mean? There's times when we have events coming up because again, Arizona Informant Foundation helps put on the MLK Fest, helps put on Juneteenth. Lynette, who is the owner of Black Rodeo USA, puts on the Black Rodeo out here. You know what I mean? So to see somebody like that who burns when I tell you when events are coming and it's the week of the event, that woman does not sleep.
Right.
She will work you under the table. I've tried to stay with I tried to, but I'm like, man, nah, I can't do that. But I mean, it's a hard road, man, in being an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? And people just got to get. It's not just about working for yourself, but if money ain't coming in, that's not because your job didn't pay you.
Right.
That's because that's on you.
It's on you. That's a mindset that has to shift
Right.
in a person to go from an employee to an employer.
Right.
It's more than a idea. You have to. There's some mindset, some habits, some things have to shift.
Right. And so, what would you encourage, or what would you tell an individual who's listening to this, maybe at their desk, in their car, on their way to work, maybe at home, that wants to become an entrepreneur? What advice would you would tell them?
The the first thing that sets the stage for me is find whoever is doing what you're doing at the highest level that you can get close to them. Because again, the best experience isn't, or the best teacher isn't experience. It's going to be what they can show you.
Right.
That's always been the easiest, the fastest route to me. The first salon I worked in, the guys were going to London. They were the sharpest in the city. They leveled me up really fast just to hang out, go to London with them. Met Tony and Guy, world-class company.
Mm-hmm.
That took us to a whole level that we didn't even really know existed. Mm-hmm. Coaching, Tad James is considered, John Maxwell is considered the best in their industry.
So you went through a lot of learning aspects, sitting under people before you jumped in the boat and just started, going off to sea.
Exactly. But because I'm a learner, so that's, to me, it's the quicker route is to get your thinking right, get your plan right. Don't spend all day planning, but get a plan.
Yeah.
And before, and be around, model someone else. I mean, that's the simplest thing is that's what everybody does anyway.
Right.
Kobe Bryant modeled Michael Jordan.
Right. Michael Jordan modeled, people before him, you know what I mean? And so there has to be a passing of the torch. And one thing I would encourage you guys as well is before you just up and quit your 9 to 5, unless the Lord is telling you otherwise, I would, like he said, learn and grow and kind of build and use that 9 to 5 to build your your business. Because there's some people that would jump off the boat like real quick.
If you're not excelling at work, you probably surely aren't going to excel in your business. Okay. If you can't be good at being an employee, that's about as easy as it's going to get.
Oh man, okay.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, man. So one last question before you go, man. My business is just an extension of who I am.
Yes, and that's just to speak to the fact that you've got to become the person that can have the business. You've got to grow. You've got to change. That's just to speak to that's once you realize that there's no magic here. It's like when you get married. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people, I know I did, they think, this is going to be, lovely.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's going to be lovely if you make it lovely. Okay?
Right.
Or it can be a nightmare.
Yeah.
And the same with the business. It's not going to be anything that you don't make it. And so you have to always be willing to question who you are and understand you got to get better. For the business to grow, you got to get better.
Right.
I heard somebody say the other day, don't ask for your don't ask for God to remove your mountains. Ask Him to give you the strength.
Yeah, get over them.
To get over them, because the mountains aren't going to move. Okay?
Right.
So you've got to get better because the business just isn't going to subdue itself to you. You've got to subdue the business.
Man, encouraging words from the top brother over here, man. So what are some last remarks, some leaving nuggets that you want to drop on some people?
Well, next week, I want to continue this conversation.
Okay.
And I want to talk about the fact that you do have to grow to the next level. How do you do that?
Gotcha.
And as well as I'd like to talk about how do you help others win? Because that's the key. Anything significant, you're not going to be able to do it alone. Mm-hmm. And so your people skills, your ability to influence and inspire people is key.
Okay.
To anyone's success. Nobody's doing this by themselves.
Correct.
And so I want to, so that's what I really want to talk about is how do you do that? How do you grow to the next level?
Okay, well, man, y'all hearing it here, man. This man is dropping some nuggets on your lives, and again, this will be every week on Tuesdays, where you'll hear a lot of information that's been given and poured out into him. He's going to pour it out to us, man, and help us to become better leaders, structure of our businesses, and motivators to other people. Correct?
That's the plan.
That's the plan. So I appreciate you, man, Mr. Gary Watkins.
Hey,
you know what
I
mean?
appreciate you for the opportunity. Really, this, I like I say, I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
So I have to teach somewhere. Or if not, I'll find myself talking too long in the mirror to myself.
Even the servant in the mirror be like, hey, look, you gotta go. Nah, but I appreciate you again, man. So again, man, I want you guys to check out the Arizona Informant Foundation, the Arizona Informant Podcast. You got the Arizona Informant TV station that we're doing, man. This is AZI for you, because everything that we do is for you, the people. We'll see you guys next week.